are united in diversity. We are very heterogeneous in our opinion.
We are doing this in our open democracies, discussing this all open and loud, and I'm not for that.
What is European Union? What is freedom? How we learn together?
The obvious question is, what is the EU doing? What is our plan?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day one of Politico's Sustainable Future Summit. I'm Joanna Roberts. I'm Senior EU Policy Editor at Politico, and I'm delighted to welcome you here, the people in the room and all the people who are following us online today. I think we last met at the Sustainable Summit a year ago, and I think it's hard to overstate just how much the sustainability debate has moved on since then. There's a political backlash against environmental regulation, which has moved from the margins really into the mainstream, with core elements now of the Green Deal being completely re-examined. 1 year into Ursula von der Leyen's second term, which the anniversary was yesterday, and Europe's green agenda looks dramatically different. Internationally, the pressures are just as sharp. President Donald Trump's return to the White House is forcing Europe to defend its standards, whilst navigating a new phase of transatlantic tension. And China, with its vast clean tech capacity, looser standards and lower costs, is not just competing with Europe, it's outpacing it. For European industry, this volatile landscape creates real uncertainty. Companies are being asked to invest in long-term decarbonisation, while the rules, incentives, and political commitments around them are shifting all the time. Policymakers are being pulled between economic anxiety and the need to deliver credible climate targets. And across the continent, people are being told that the green transition must accelerate, even as its costs and trade-offs become more visible. So that's the backdrop to today's conversations. This morning, we're going to focus on the EU's climate ambitions, as well as its renewed focus on industrial policy. And then this afternoon, we'll be turning our attention to the bioeconomy, chemicals, and oceans. We'll have a series of panels and interviews with policymakers, experts, academics, and industry leaders, including Wopke Hoekstra, the Commissioner for Climate, Net Zero and Clean Growth, Kostas Kadis, the EU Commissioner for Oceans and Fisheries, Lars Agard, the Danish Minister for Climate, Energy and Utilities, and Elizabeth Werner, Director General for DG Agri, among many more. Before we kick off properly, I want to thank our partners who are making this summit possible. Our leading partners, Naturgy, our presenting partners, Bentley Systems, CFM, Mars, and Cefic, and our networking partner, IRU. At Politico, we do love a good debate, so please do share any thoughts you have with us on platforms like X, Blue Sky, LinkedIn, and others, using the hashtag Politico Sustainable Summit. Some sessions will include Q&A for the audience in the room, and our moderators will let you know when those Q&As will take place, and for those sessions, we'll be coming around the room with mics. And then during our networking breaks, our reporters and our Politico Pro support staff are in the corridors to connect, and you can also explore our partners' installations and meet fellow attendees. So to kick off the program, we're going to have opening remarks from our partner, Naturgy. And then afterwards, we're going to have our exclusive interview with Wopke Hoekstra, the Commissioner for Climate, Net Zero and Clean Growth, where he'll be chatting about COP30, geopolitics, and climate action. Thank you very much, and we hope you have fun.
This is working. Thank you. So I was just saying thank you, Joanna, for the introduction. Welcome everybody, and thank you for attending this meeting, this gathering, either in person here in Brussels or through online through all the multiple ways of being connected. Any of these gatherings are always called timely and being at crossroads. So, but this time is the one in which I think we can definitely say we are at crossroads. Europe needs to decide whether we stay committed to our long-term decarbonization and energy transition goals, or whether we give in to skepticism and how would I say, and well, negationism in some ways. What is the key? In our view, as Naturgy, and I think the energy industry in general, we have always defended that the key resides on striking the right balance between this famous trilemma: security of supply, affordability, and sustainability. On the side of citizens are increasingly leaning towards this skepticism. If we are not able to respond to the real short-term anxieties, being able to pay the bill on the one side and making sure that the lights and the heaters stay on. So let's face it, the energy industry and the policymakers, I think we have not been very successful at communicating to our fellow citizens the costs, as Joanna was saying, the trade-offs of energy transition, that energy transition implies. So again, finding that right balance between sustainability, security of supply, and affordability is not only good policy practice. In our view, it is a cornerstone of ensuring the buy-in of the public and avoiding the slippery slope of populism and skepticism. Some progress has been made, and in this regard, we welcome, for instance, last Thursday's decision by the Commission aimed at tapering the price of ETS2 to shield consumers from abrupt cost increases. That on the side of citizens, but on the side of industry, our industry, European industry, requires long-term competitiveness. And it requires long-term competitiveness, frankly, in the face of other countries that do not have the same standards in terms of energy transition, or even just plain blunt dumping. So our industries are voting with their feet, as we say, and frankly, they are either going elsewhere or closing their facilities. So what is the solution? Let's tackle that in the coming panels and speeches, and in our view, not from high-level theoretical arguments, but having in mind the needs and anxieties of real-life households and industries. What is required? We would need to envisage ways of making several energy supply options available for every consumer. So not forcing them to pre-design theoretical optimal solutions. Our view is optionality is the key, and consumer choice is the key. Let each consumer choose the energy supply alternative that better suits their requirements in terms of affordability and security of supply. And of course, sustainable solutions. Now, this availability of several decarbonization options requires, in turn, three things. First, a clear understanding that no technology or energy source is intrinsically better than others. We need an open mind from policymakers, opinion leaders, the industry itself, the regulators, about the different energy sources available, not taking dogmatic approaches or preferred technological solutions. Second, infrastructures. We need functioning and technologically updated infrastructures for all energy forms and networks, both gas, oil, electricity networks. Updated networks are required for this transition and for making several options available for all consumers. And finally, efficient markets to ensure transparency so that consumers can make the right economical choices. I'm sure that there's several debates during today and tomorrow will tackle some of these issues. And again, having in mind this balance between security of supply, affordability, and sustainability, and this balance between different options of energy supplies for every consumer. So thank you very much for attending this meeting. And I lend the floor now to, I think, Commissioner Hoekstra. So thank you very much.